All right, welcome back, and this is pretty much the first video that has to do with the introduction of the book, The Small Business Destruction Guide. So if you've read the introduction, you know that I immediately start off with some statistics, and statistics that 99%, okay, so I've written this down here, 99% of the businesses in the United States of America, at least as of 2019, and pretty much I'm going to tell you this is all in a document that I'm going to put to the PDF link to that document. It's a 218-page document by the Small Business Administration, the SBA. You can find it on Google if you want to just go download it yourself, but I'll have the link down on below this video so you can just open it up. Basically, it gives you these statistics plus the statistics for every single state in the United States of America, broken down into different types of the industries and so on and so forth. And so depending on what state you're in, if you're in the United States, you can go in there, and it's actually a very good idea to kind of, go through that, especially your specific state, see what businesses really hired a lot, what businesses went up, what businesses went down in your state over the past year, so 2019 statistics. But I love to read and, look at statistics, although I don't like to dwell on them a lot because there's a lot more to the statistics, but it does help to kind of give a base of where you need to focus on and why things happen. So pretty much 99.9% of the businesses in the United States, which is a total of 30.7 million businesses, are considered small businesses in the United States. So that is 47.3% of the employees, of the workforce in the United States are from small businesses, or 59.9 million employees, people working in small businesses. So this is huge, guys. This is something that you have to look at, and again, in the previous video, and if you've read the book, you understand that because you're a small business, whether you're one person, this goes up to pretty much 500 employees, 499, 500 employees, and after that it's considered a big business. But also the important thing is the majority of these businesses are actually up to 100 employees. All right, so that's what I actually am focusing on, because that's the majority of the businesses, small businesses in the United States. Big businesses, obviously, you've got Walmart being 2.2 million employees. I believe last year was 2.2 million employees. You've got Apple, ExxonMobil, CVS, Berkshire Hathaway. So all of these businesses are considered the big businesses, and the 0.01% of the businesses in the United States make up for more than half of the employees. The workforce, I won't call it employees, but the workforce of the United States of America. Think about that. So that's why when, something like 2008 that hit us, businesses had needed bailouts, GM, I believe, needed a bailout, and so on. You'll understand a little bit better. I actually definitely understood a lot better why the government is so eager to help out these big businesses. And just think about it. If Walmart fails or folds or has any problems, they're laying off 2.2 million. Let's say Walmart goes out of business. It's not going to happen, at least not in our lifetimes. I don't think so. Amazon definitely is getting up there, but, stores are still going to be available as long as we live. But let's say Walmart does go out of business. 2.2 million people are going to be out of a job, So that's why the government is eager to come in and help bail them out in the hopes, and fortunately, obviously, the bailouts, the 2008 bailouts that the government did do, got paid back with interest, so that all worked out great. This COVID-19 situation we're going through right now, this is actually affecting not the big businesses, but the small businesses. So we are actually being a lot more affected by this COVID-19 pandemic that's going on around the world. But this is important for you to know and to understand, because whether you're in a small business or whether you're thinking about starting a small business, that's where you're going to fit. You're going to be part of a 99.9% of the businesses in the United States of America. All right, so that's exciting. For me, that actually fires me up, because we are not, we may be small, but we're not small. And an analogy that I actually have, let me do this. Yeah, let's do this. I'm going to keep the why what's down here. So now that you know these facts, this is an analogy that I came up with the other day when I was thinking about this video and how to I like to give analogies and visualizations so that people understand it better. But let's say that, and you've probably seen this in videos before, where you've got this big muscular guy or big fat guy, and they lay down on a bed of nails. Well, that's pretty much the same thing that happens with the small businesses. So you have let's say this is the United States, and you've got all these millions of little businesses, okay? And then you have, the small businesses, the big businesses, okay? And obviously here you've got a lot more than just those, all right? Now, if you've seen one of those videos where the big guy is lying down on, this whole bed of nails, all right? Does he get hurt? No. He's got the pricks on his back, but he doesn't get hurt. They don't perforate his body. Why? Because he has a lot of nails kind of supporting him. If you were to lie down, or if he were to lie down over here, it would definitely, because you don't have that much of a support. And again, that's why I go back to using the example of the United States government bailing out one of these guys, one big nail, all right, kind of starting to hurt. Why? Because this thing's knocked down, you got half of the economy, half of the country being laid off. Over half of the country, it was 47.3, so 52.7% of the employment in the United States is in big businesses. So any of these guys crumble, you're looking at a major problem. So just keep that in mind, but don't forget, you contribute to a nice big chunk of the United States economy and actually the world economy as well. So I want to get that out of the way, get those facts out of the way. Now I want to get into the questions that are on the board over here that you will almost certainly hear me repeat multiple times during my teachings and my trainings, especially in the Small Business Instruction Guide. But it's something that has to do with life. These are the questions that I ask. And so in this introduction, I want to kind of challenge you. If you haven't opened up your business yet, the question that I always ask is why? Are you afraid? Are you fearful of something? The statistics obviously have a high percentage of businesses close within the first 12 months of opening. Then, a much higher percentage by year 5, okay? The Small Business Instruction Guide actually just covers the first 24 months, but obviously many more businesses collapse up to the 5th year. And a lot of times it's, one of the main reasons is people get into a business or they start a business that there really isn't a market for. Okay, so you don't have the clientele. You are passionate about a product, you're passionate about maybe a service, you're passionate about something, but you haven't done the market research. And then you open up, you spend all this money, and you realize that you don't really have a market. You don't have clientele, no business, you're going to close down. And then the other biggest reason is pretty much money. Companies run out of money. And it kind of almost goes hand in hand with the first one, because if you're not making money, chances are you're doing something wrong with maybe a good product. Okay, you might have a good product and you're not marketing it right, you're not communicating right with your audience, with your clientele, and money's not coming in, you run out of money, off you go, okay? You have to close down. But you know, or sometimes, and again, if you've read the book, then you'll know the big is another reason why. So I'll go, obviously all of these trainings will come in sequential videos, but for right now, those are two big reasons. But for you right now, whether you have a business or want to start a business, okay, these questions will pretty much apply to you. Now, what do you do currently? Or what do you want to do if you don't have a small business yet? Okay, so what? All right, once you answer that question, all right, you will pretty much have that under control. Again, I'm not going to go into major detail here because this is going to be repeated in other videos in more detail. Okay, why? Why do you want to do that? All right, what is it that is driving you? What is your why to that? Then, if you know what, you know why, how? How are you going to do it? Are you going to be a brick and mortar store? Do you want to be a brick and mortar store? Do you have to be a brick and mortar store? Or can this be exclusively e-commerce, online? So you have to make that decision. How? How are you going to get to your clients? And then when? And this is obviously the big question. When? When are you going to get started if you haven't started yet? Or when are you going to start turning your business around if it's flatlined on a coma, all right? Or if it's about to close? When are you going to take action, all right? So these questions I ask in life in general, okay? Life in general, I ask these questions. But as a business owner, as a prospective business owner and entrepreneur, you want to ask these questions about your business or your prospective business. So the statistics I've just gone through do not include the businesses that are not registered. And you're probably asking, Ozzy, what do you mean it's a business that isn't registered? Yeah, there are a lot of businesses in the United States. In fact, the reason I'm actually saying this is because I'm consulting with a business right now. The guy has been doing business. He's been taking money from clients, been training people. Okay, it's a gym, and he's been training people for 8 years, and he doesn't have a registered business. All right, so basically, when I sat down with him and he thought I was going to be doing business consulting with him, I'm actually doing hobby consulting. I'm turning his hobby into a business, okay? And that starts off with pretty much registering a business, getting a tax ID number and everything, and doing all of that. So think about that for a minute. Do you have a business, okay, or do you have a hobby? If you have a hobby, as we go through the program, I will help you to understand better on how to actually start your business, register your business, pay your taxes, and become part of the statistics that I showed you, and a growing statistic, okay, not one that's going to fall off. All right, so basically that's introduction. Obviously, the next video is going to be on the first topic in the book. So don't forget, go. It's yours for the taking. And I'll see you on the next video.